Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today we're looking at a too long didn't read summary of January 2017's monthly report. Obviously I read it, would be much of a summary if I didn't. Just a note there as well, that in January typically there are a variety of meetings and scheduling talks that happen all around the CIG and Foundry 42 studios. 2017 was no different in that regard. This is more specifically aimed at highlights of the monthly report that are more tangible information rather than them just talking about moving to different studios and having talks. So tangible information here. So CIG Los Angeles, let's start with them. Engineering guys, they've been working on new modular character customization as well as systems to allow for solar system sized maps, lights, radar systems, and level hierarchies, all for that. They've also introduced a node-based controller enabling improved networking of item components and kind of benefits to multi-crew gameplay. New damage controller for explosive props and destructible props, or objects, to the item system framework have been added. Down in tech design, they have the Buccaneer and Cutlass Black in the grey box phase. The Aurora update is in the works and it's in its final art stages now. They've prototyped how players might interact with the world and with various items for the future as well. More work on in-game pricing, ship balancing, and underlying systems for that. Art guys have been creating concept art for a new Anvil ship. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. They've created an Explorer suit for the Persistent Universe and heavy marine armor for Star Marine. More clothes additions for shops and NPCs too. Tech content, various projects involving Sean Tracy, 3 Lateral, and other development and research that they've been doing will be revealed soon. The FPS weapons have been optimized for both male and female models. They are developing foot anchoring so that your leg IK and ground alignment are based on whether the characters are on their feet or their heels. IK is referring to inverse kinematics and refers to a process utilized in 3D computer graphic animation. In this process, the parameters of each articulation in a jointed flexible object will automatically be calculated to achieve a desired pose, especially when the endpoint moves. And we talk a lot about IK. I realised that I haven't really explained what IK was before. Tech content has also integrated initial systems for the planet editor, which allows for outposts and buildings to be spawned and placed using scatter maps. Improvements have been made to ships such as the Mustang and Super Hornet. Improvements made to various animation tools as well. More additions to the facial and head assets. There's been updates to the female rig, including the gripping of weapons for that. Facial idols for pilots have also been added for the 2.6.1 patch. And the narrative guys there as well, they've been fleshing out missions and stories for Alpha 3.0. They've continued working on the Xi'an language, or Zhon language, depending on how you want to say it. Just say it how you want. But building a database of text needs for Squadron 42 has also been one of the narrative's tasks. Down in CIG Austin, the design guys there have been setting the foundations for the first iterations of the economy for the Persistent Universe. Shopping kiosks have moved into the development phase, and there's been lots and lots of work on the shopping kiosks there. A design document on archetypes for shops has been created, outlining their details and features. With shopping kiosks, that's going to enable us to buy stuff that was larger than off the shelf. So stuff like ships, ship equipment, and that sort of stuff, as well as stuff that you could also buy on shelves, I suppose, as well. Art, they finished some further lighting improvements for Star Marine and are now focusing on Squadron 42's lighting. They finished a visual update on the Super Hornet and are now working on a new vehicle. The Cutlass Black is in its grey box phase and is now being worked on as well. Animation guys, they've been working on usable interaction animations for various things, from exercising to leaning on tables. They've also done the enter and exit combat speed animations for pretty much all the ships, I believe. They've been finished as well now. Animations for the Prospector and Buccaneer have also begun. Lots happening down in Foundry 42 UK. Graphics guys, they've worked on the GPU cube map capturing. That's almost complete, and they've started to write systems that maximize that tech so they can truly achieve dynamic lighting on planets and space stations. Further improvements with lighting, shadow quality, and performance there as well. Work on area lights and planning for a more efficient particle system in the future too. The programming guys there got the Mega Map, which is the quick way of loading in and out of areas and matches. They got that implemented for single player in 2.6.1 and are now working on multiplayer That could be in 2.6.1 or 2.6.2, based on how quickly they can do that, as well as networking improvements and additions into the game. The mission system, item pickups at the 3D minimap, and lots more have been worked on by programming as well, and hopefully we'll see a lot of that in the near future. The VFX guys, they've worked on improved particle streaming for better dynamic loading. They are planning breakdowns of atmospheric flight model effects, and they blew lots of stuff up as well. Art guys, new ships are entering concept, and they're finishing up a new anvil design. I assume that's the Hurricane, amongst some others as well, but we'll talk more about that a little bit later. The Reclaimer is in production, working on both the exterior and interior of that ship. The Prospector has polished LODs and is preparing to be made flight ready. The Miss Grazer has been given a sleeker design as well, and there's been a tech pass over various Squadron 42 interior sections. Props for medium ship components and dressing sets have been completed. Destructible props for 2.6 completed as well. We're going to be seeing larger and more destructible props in the future. Narrative assets were added to the environments for 2.6.1 as well. More resources are working on developing moons, nebulas, and space stations now. They're improving the planets or planetary material systems to retain fidelity from space to ground. They want that high visual quality no matter where you are. But the levels of detail are incredibly important there as well, so that you don't fill your system with irrelevant detail. Further development on what space will visually look like is also being worked on. The UI guys there, they made improvements to the leaderboards, a new pause menu, and they're scheduling new UI features for the upcoming releases, such as purchasing and selling via shopping kiosk interfaces. The animation guys there, they've been working on in various improvements to animation and 2.6.1, as well as improved animations for weapons, for the new weapons pipeline, improvements to the prone and crouch locomotion animations, and female mocap animation data has been implemented for subsumption. It's good that they're getting further on with that female animations and the female model. Again, we'll talk about the female model a little bit later. Design, they're preparing for a new mission system and getting ready for everything to be implemented on that side. They are trying to maximize performance of the object container stream system by splitting items into logical object containers. And they've been implementing a scoring rebalance for Arena Commander and Star Marine, as well as continued to move for ships and equipment to be in the item system 2.0, getting stuff all over to that. Foundry 42, Germany, Frankfurt, DE, whatever you want to call it. The AI guys there, they have been working on subsumption, getting core AI functionalities integrated into the mission system for existing Crusader missions, as well as obviously for the future. Getting AI to work with various environments and the object container system in regards to cover systems and various animations as well, and further refactoring to AI flight control stuff. Cinematics in regards to player NPC conversations. The cinematics team have been working on UI text placement and animation for dialogue choices, getting players and NPCs dealing with various movement speeds, positions, and collisions when talking or moving around each other, as well as getting dynamic camera effects for conversations in 2, giving players freedom but still feeling cinematic when they're in certain scenes and talks. The engine guys there, they've been working on the solar system editor and customizer, so that allows them the creation of top-down universe and solar system views. They've worked on procedural object distribution on planets, moons, and that sort of jazz. This can be flora, fauna, rocks, but could also eventually, I suppose, be used for outposts, buildings, loot, and all forms of distribution. Buildings and outposts will be adjusted to terrain, with biomes and colours and shaders and that sort of stuff. They will feel part of those biomes. They are also being reintroducing static code analysis as a mandatory part of the tri-build system, zone system fixes and optimizations. They've been working on ongoing the pack system stuff for the patcher updates. That's referring to the Delta patcher, just saying they are working on the Delta patcher, something that we hope will be released soon. The tech art guys there, they've made improvements to the weapon IK grip setup. This helps them change left hand poses per weapon while keeping the base animation the same. They can hand key that to do what they want. They are researching further improvements to foot planting as well. The design guys there have been prototyping satellites, surface outposts, and space station interiors, and their various modules, interior and exterior, I believe. They've been working on points of interest, such as truck stops, refineries, and cargo stations in space, refactoring the U system to allow both AI and players to make use of objects and items simultaneously, as well as support for multiple actions to be performed. They've begun implementing oxygen, breathing, and stamina systems as well for the first-person shooter-based stuff, as well as landing and takeoff systems and a air traffic control system that will all be part of landing, takeoff, Squadron 42, persistent universe, all that sort of jazz. They are making further additions to the mercenary and bounty hunter careers as well, working out exactly what's going to be part of those. The VFX guys, they've been getting particles to spawn on planets procedurally based on biome and geometry, and the wind system now accounts for the spherical nature of planets. The environment art guys there, again, they've been improving procedural tech, assets and tools for planets and moons and systems, and the procedural scattering system that they've been working on now enables rule-based scattering of rocks, plants, trees, and many, many more objects. Among other things like promos, Turbulent handles Spectrum, the new unified communication platform, and its first incarnation, which should hopefully go live pretty damn soon. I believe its first iteration will go live with 2.6.1 live, at least that's the plan. Expect a web version of Spectrum with public and private chat, forums, search functionality, as well as member presence, and a decent mobile experience. They are planning on adding more and more community customization features, and they want to create dedicated mobile applications so Spectrum can follow you everywhere. Eventually, Spectrum will be integrated in-game, will have voice over IP, and lots more features. So it's going to keep on getting fleshed out. As soon as you get your hands on that, guys, test it out. Give your feedback. It's important for pretty much all of Star Citizen, but that's going to be a very new feature, so you might as well have your say on it. My general afterthought, I suppose, it's kind of it for the monthly report in terms of tangible, useful highlights. I will drop a link to the full report as well as my notes on it on the description as well. I tend to leave out what the QA guys and CS and some of the back-end guys do, as normally it's just testing patches, present and future, and doing the same thing they do all the time, which is making stuff work. They do sterling work, though, and are essential to getting patches like 2.6.1 published to PTU and to live builds quickly, as well as sorting out your customer service problems and all that sort of jazz. The monthly report hints at the female model nearing completion and further work on the Delta Patcher, which we heard recently was in internal testing a little while ago, so hopefully that is very close to being finished too. We know the Hurricane is the next ship to go on concept sale, and that is probably what they were talking about when they were referring to a new Anvil ship. We don't know exactly what that's going to be, but I've done a video on what I expect it to be, a heavy fighter, so I put the link downstairs somewhere. Downstairs, if you're a different part of your screen's downstairs. So whatever that was about. But we do not know exactly when that ship's going to be coming out on concept, unfortunately. The Buccaneer and Cutlass Black do sound extremely close to being released as well. Maybe we will see them in a patch 2.6.2. Who knows? If you would like to see the latest Star Citizen news, please check out more of my videos on my channel, as well as the latest info on patches, changes, updates, tutorials, and more. Also, commenting on any of my videos during a given month gives you a chance to win a Star Citizen-based ship. For February, it's an Avenger Titan. So tell me if there's anything that excites you in this monthly report. Are you waiting on 3.0 with bated breath, and that's the only thing you care about? Is Squadron 42 progress the only thing you care about? Or do you just want to know where the Banu Merchantman and Redeemer are in the production cycle? Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I will see you in the verse.